So the first thing I wanted us to discuss about is deal breakers. I want Ashley not to expand on what a deal breaker is because she's very conversant to the topic. She can tell us what that is, and then we can each go saying what our deal breakers is in relationships.
I'm conversant to the topic. That's funny. Deal breakers, the other day I was told, is basically, let's call it like your non-negotiables. Yeah. So basically something that, how do I say it? Like, okay, let me give an example. So for me and most of my friends, we have this argument almost all the time. So would you want to date someone who's taller than you or shorter than you? You know, that is unnegotiable. That one is not, okay, to some, fine, stop looking at me like that. To some, it's unnegotiable, but to others, it's not. But a non-negotiable would be someone who is a Christian, because that is the bottom line, the basic foundation. That is just like important. If it's not there, guys, just ask yourself a few questions. It's fine. It's okay to do that. But yeah, I think that's an example. It's negotiables and non-negotiables. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. So now it actually I can use that word. What are some of the non-negotiables in a relationship you would want to have with someone?
Me.
It's open to sharing, so please,
Oh.
anyone who's ready, please. Hey, Ashley, relax. So anyone who's open to sharing, please feel free to speak up. This is not a class. It's like, just imagine if we were in a room together, just chilling. It's something like that. So if you have something to say, just feel free to speak.
I feel like for now nobody has thought about those. Like,
Real?
yeah, like if they're there, it's for later. Yes.
What are those ones?
Okay, I can give like an example. Or let's say, for me, shorter than me, for example. I have to have someone shorter than me. That's an example. So it's not necessary right now because nothing's serious, I think. For me, at least, okay, I'm going to speak for me. For me, particularly right now, nothing's serious. So that's for later. It won't be a must-have until it's later. You get?
Ongeza volume kama usikii.
So nobody at this point. No, I don't think anyone is thinking about the non-negotiables.
But
for now, most goes. Most
okay,
goes.
so let me ask, based on what you've just said. You just said if someone, let's say for example, your deal breaker is your girlfriend has to be shorter than you, yeah? So okay. If it's for later, does that mean for now you date tall girls? Like you'd be comfortable dating a girl taller than you?
I mean, I'd be open to it. I won't go straight ahead and be like, yeah, okay, I'm looking for someone tall. But like, you'd be open to it. You get, like, if somebody has all the other, like they've checked all the boxes apart from being shorter than you, you'd be open to trying. But you see, if it's a deal breaker for you later, that box has to be checked. It's a requirement. So I don't think right now people really are focusing on that. I think anything goes right now.
Have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What about age?
Yeah, that can be a deal breaker. Tell us, is that one of yours?
Now that's tricky.
How come?
Now if it was later, she has to be younger. But for now, I don't know.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean?
I see what you mean.
Like,
so you date someone in college right now?
That's what I want to ask, because I'm like, okay.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah, is okay. Does it bother anyone that age has to be a deal breaker?
It bothers me. Nasema tu kweli. Utadanganya.
Why does it bother
you? Can I say the most recent one? Because that one is the freshest. We had an age difference of 5 years. I think 5 or 4.
She was younger. 5 years younger.
Yes, she was 5 years younger.
5 years.
I know sai mahesabu zimeanza kwa akili za watu. But we met. But we've known each other for years before that. So I can say age can be an issue because of being in different places. Because let's say you're dating, and I understand what Ian was saying, you can date someone older in high school. And technically my second relationship with this someone older than me. But because you are both in high school, you have a lot to relate with. But after umalize high school, umalize kule, as in life changes a lot. So ukiwa kule ndo na date msako high school, hata kama kuna age difference ya 1, inaweza kuwa hivi. So age is something really that has other factors influence. And one of the most important factors is where you are in life. So kama mimi na hiyo 5 years ilikuwa ina work juu both of us were in Kole. And yeah, so I think nakuelewa Ian.
Mine is violence. If there's any form of violence, whether physical or emotional, even spiritual, I'm out. I'm like, bye. Nimenda zangu, I won't be here. So that's a deal breaker for me. Like if there's any form of violence, he slaps me, I slap him. I'm like emotionally, like, emotional abuse. If there's ever any of that, I'm out. So yeah, that's one
of my deal breakers. What do you mean by spiritual abuse or violence?
Someone unajua juju. Do you know what juju is? When someone literally prays against you. That is spiritual violence. So yes.
Do you know that they're praying against you?
If you're in tune with God and you do your devotion daily and you listen, there's just a way you can tell that someone's vibe is off. And just by them being around, you can be like, I don't like their spirit and how they are being around me, Like dating someone, it's supposed to be calm, you're supposed to like their spirit. But if their spirit is always fighting with yours, then that's a sign that something is wrong. So yeah, spiritual warfare, also spiritual violence.
Mimi niseme moja nilikuwa nayo high school. Nataka ni kitambo nakumbuka. Moja ilikuwa shule. I know it's petty, but kuna shule zingine mimi singebother nayo. Kwa
petty.
Because it was
you drive.
It's actually very popular. I think even up to today, where you as unahusisha hiyo jina imekataa, unahusisha vitu vingine na shule fulani. So kama nakumbuka Buru ilikuwa ya matomboy. Pole kama kuna mtu wa Buru, but siku zangu ilikuwa hivyo. St. Bush ilikuwa atoko na maigo mob na vitu kama hizo. So unaachana na hao watu juu hizo story. So I could say maybe that is a deal breaker.
That's interesting. Let me ask you based on that. Now from like you as a grown-up now, because then it was based on the high school that person went to. So as a grown-up, are there like some places you'd never want your partner to be going? Let's say, for example, the bar or the club, like things like those. Would those still be things that would stop you from wanting to be with them in a relationship?
Yes, because I've come to see in relationships, the thing that helps them is having a lot of things that you can relate with. I'm not saying everything, but having some things so that you avoid a lot of conflict. Kwa sababu watu hupigana juu hizo vitu zenye. So tuseme kama umepata mtu mwenye, tuseme umepatana kwa club na wewe unajua umeokoka or something, itakuwa complicated kwa sababu
club ulienda kufanya nini?
Story for another day. Acha hiyo tutakuja siku. But Kenya naweza sema club. Wait. How you? But naweza sema if you really are serious about what you want, you'll make sure that you are in an environment that can make it grow. So kama umepatana in two different environments, utashinda mmepigana kwa sababu utakuwa na church vibes on Sunday, yako hanyi. So kwa hapo tu unashangaa nini bana, utaanza kujiuliza kwa nini niko na dem ama uchaki, kwa sababu as in it brings a lot of conflict. So after, maybe if I can answer after why it's different after high school, is because after high school you also get to grow and experience some things, and also grow your mind and have experiences and hear people out. So you get to know your true value. Na majamaa, hii maisha ni fupi bana, tusishinde tumepigania vitu zenye haziziishi. So kama unaona kitu haiendi mahali, stop wasting your time. Hivyo ndio naweza kushow. It sounds harsh, but mazima madem ni wengi, majamaa ni wengi. Enda tu kwingine, usijilete stress ya bure. Yes, I hope nimejibu Misha.
Yeah, you've made sense. I haven't heard your question well because you were kind of breaking. If you don't mind repeating it. Yeah.
So a guy has fallen for a Muslim girl, and a girl has fallen for a Muslim Jama. I mean, the qualities are everything that they wished for. Are there people in here who would have any problem with getting into that relationship, and if so, why?
Ashley, your hand is up.
Oh, he asked, are there any people who would have a problem getting into that relationship? Sounds like me.
Okay, tell us why.
Have a problem. Because of literally like the basics. We, according to what I have heard about Islam and Christianity, like we have differences. They don't believe Jesus is the Son of God, who I think they believe he died, and like he died. So he didn't resurrect. So it's very hard for me to be talking about someone that I love so much, aka Jesus, and then to someone who doesn't even believe they exist. Like, how do I share my joys with you? How do I explain that, Yani, oh my gosh, it could be something simple like me telling a story, and then I'm like, hey, yeah, that was Jesus. And then they make a face. Well, you don't even like my stories. And then secondly, you don't like these people that I like. So it's just like, it's like those major differences that just make it hard to even have the basic interaction. Okay, to me, that's how I see it.
Okay, so in another differing opinion, someone who would be comfortable getting into a relationship with someone who's of a different religion of yours?
I'm not particularly comfortable with it, but I'm trying to reason. Like, I'm trying to weigh which side has the most pros. Like there's the pros and the cons. So you have to see which one is beneficial. I think it depends on the situation that those two people are in. Jacob phrased it as the guy has fallen for a Muslim girl, and vice versa. Don't you think for them to be comfortable, it has to be the same? Like they both have to have those feelings so that they can at least come to like a middle ground where they can now see, I think here we can go on as like this. And maybe you don't have to give up your religion. You can both be, you can stay in your respective religions. I think I have friends whose parents are like that, and I don't think there's an issue. They give the guy the choice of which religion he wants to join. So maybe it's not all that bad.
I'm not really sure. Maybe it can go both ways. But I think some places you'll be struggling. Like maybe Fridays when you'll be watching movies on your own, you'll be in the mosque. And then but I think if you love one another properly, maybe you can avoid some talks. Yeah.
Some talks. Please clarify on that.
Like the talk about Christ and those are our beliefs. Yeah.
Do you think it's possible to passionately pursue Christ, like you as a Christian, and for your girlfriend to passionately pursue Allah without you guys knocking heads at any given point?
I think it's gonna be tough in such a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe on some rare occasions, it might just work.
Okay. So would you yourself pursue such? Am I your Christian, same religion?
I would go for the Christian. I would also do Christian other religions if such a situation forces me to. I'm not really sure of such a situation really, but if it forces me to, I think, yeah.
Hi. I'm Monique. So for me, I would think it's okay because one thing that is different is the Jesus part. For the Muslims I've interacted with, Allah is the same as God. To them, they have the same beliefs that He's the creator and all that stuff. So the only thing that I think would differ was the Jesus part. And for me, if you make it work, if you guys are really committed to what you're doing, if you really love each other, you will avoid the whole conversation about Jesus. Or if you do, they'll respect it. That point that you're okay with Jesus, he's with the prophets, and yeah, you'd be okay with it.
As we deliberate on more deal breakers, I want us to go on to the purpose of having a relationship. What is your purpose? Why would you be having a relationship with someone in the first place?
I think personally I would say I'd get into a relationship like for marriage, like to prepare myself for marriage. Like I think the reason for getting into a relationship is to like go out there and find the right person to marry. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I'd say you guys have never dated out of curiosity. Kweli ni mimi peke yangu. Saa zingine tu nataka tu ku test. Kuna venye kutaenda na huyo, or I just said, I know it's really bad or even arrogant or shows a lot of ego, but sometimes you date because udem tu ni msaa utaki tu aende hivyo. Mimi nasema ka jamaa. And I'm saying because I've done it. Yes, I've done it. Sometimes you just want to date because you just don't want to let her go without testing that. Sijui kuna get. Majamaa wananielewa, mimi sijui kama mnanielewa.
Okay, thanks. It made sense. So I'll take those two purposes. and that's how we'll be able to test how far is too far within those two. So there are two types of relationships. There's the one where we're in it because of curiosity, and then there's one where we're in it because of marriage. So let's look at this curious relationship. If we're in it for curiosity, what are some of the things we'll be doing in this kind of relationship to satisfy our curiosity? What would you be curious about? And then how can you satisfy this curiosity that you have?
Can I give example?
Please do. Please give some.
Examples which I know are in some of these people's head.
Yes.
Acha niseme moja was you want a making out body. Another one is a cuddling buddy. Those are the intimate now things. Kwa sababu you just want to experiment there. Na uone venye ina feel. Yes, I think those examples are the ones that come at the top of my head.
So I can just add the examples on my side from what I was getting at, the point rather. So the purpose of dating, as we had said, it can either be for curiosity or for marriage. So when you're curious, I feel like you wouldn't have any guidelines or boundaries on what you can do, because you'll just be like, as I'm just with this person for like, let's say you've planned to be with them for 6 months. Like, I'm with them for 6 months. I want to do it and everything that I can do with this person for 6 months. That includes sleepovers, cooking together, traveling together, cuddling, having sex, all those things. You want to do them in those 6 months. So when you're done, you can now move on with someone else and gain experience. That's what a relationship whose purpose is for curiosity is. Like, you just want to gain experience. So it doesn't matter your body count. It doesn't matter how many soul ties you build up. It just matters that you fulfill this curiosity that you have. Yeah. So now with the relationship that the purpose is marriage, you'll find that you'll be more restrictive in who you let in and who you choose to be very intimate with at any given point. So you'll be guarded. You'll be like, okay, fine, yeah, we're hanging out. Yes, we cuddle and stuff, but I'll be more cautious on who I let in. I won't just be there for curiosity and just do it with anyone who's willing. I just want to be with a specific person and build on what we're having. Hope that makes sense in what I was getting at, like the purpose of dating. And let's discuss boundaries first before we jump into this advice and things first. Alongside the non-negotiables you had mentioned earlier, we mentioned age, the leisure activities the person does, and also the religion. For some of us, some don't. Religion is not a deal breaker, yeah? So with those deal breakers, are there any boundaries you'd set in place in order to prevent yourself from getting into a relationship which you won't be happy in? Or being in a relationship that you know you're doing wrong and you don't want to get out of? So are there any boundaries to guide you when you're dating? Do you have any guidance at all? I'm unaingianga too.
I feel like you have to have a destination on what you want to achieve after you're done with the relationship, or like where you want to go with this person. There has to be an objective you want to achieve. You know?
Yeah.
Maybe the objective is marriage, or maybe the objective, if you're curious, maybe the objective is just to add them to the count. You have to have an objective. Otherwise, there's no point of the relationship. So that's one guide for me. Another one is you have to be in control of what you're doing. Think about what you're doing, about its consequences, about don't think about, somebody said on the 3 videos that were released on YouTube, that don't think about now. I think it was Sharon. Yeah, Sharon or Ashley.
Excuse me, it was me. It was me.
Yeah, sorry. It was Ashley. Don't think about now, think about think about the consequences, the circumstances of your action. You have to know what you're doing, be in control. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe Michelle, if I may add, Kayla said something really important about thinking ahead. Okay, ukifikiria mbele utaanza, you'll actually be able to know some things that you cannot stand with that person and be able to dodge a bullet. He said about the count and mecheka, and something I just say is really important, and I'd like you guys to know is that just because the more you increase your count, the more you have things to deal with when you actually find the right person. So it's really important for you to not only date without a reason. Because I remember, like, there came a period when I was in my second year in uni. I actually met someone really good, but before I could, the opportunity passed because I had a lot of things I needed to deal with in my life because of people I had still not. Unajua wale watu mmeachana but hamjaachana. Sijui kama statement ina make sense. Nilikuwa na kadhaa na kuna venye igeleta two issues mob. So I'd say that the moment you have a certain set agenda or objectives when you are going with someone, you'll see whether you'll be able to even doggo and be able to dodge a bullet. Because the worst thing you can do for yourself is share your heart everywhere. It gets confusing. Paka unaanza hata kusahau. You get confused about what really dating is about. So I'd really encourage you, before you jump into something or even reveal you want to jump into something, really know what you want. Know what you want for yourself, and in due time utaweza kuevaluate na dodge bullets. Because now it goes to both majamaa na wadem pia. Our hearts are not meant to be shared to everyone. You get, they are meant to be shared to a few. And there's a verse that says, guard your heart above all else. Everything flows from it. And it's not, I say me too for this, inasema because your heart is something really delicate to guys and also to girls. Yes.
Thank you, Sam. That was very insightful. I hope umeelewa your point here, Kyle, not for purpose. But just to add on, I personally feel, with my background in being a Christian, my background in how I was brought up, that the purpose of a relationship is entirely to be for marriage. And also, one of the guidelines I have for myself is that this relationship should mirror Christ. It should be Christ-like. So if it's something that God is looking at and be like, "Hey, my child, what are you doing?" Obviously, then that's the wrong thing. That's how I can tell that we've gone too far. But if it's something that God can look at and be like, "Okay, you're doing well, continue. Yes, this is how I want you to conduct yourself in this relationship," then that's how you can tell you're on the right path and you've not gone far. So let me give an example. For example, you're supposed to genuinely, as a Christian, want to grow every day in Christ. So if in your relationship you find that you can't necessarily grow together, like this is one of you who's not up for it, who's not interested in building on the relationship, then you'd be able to tell that you need to work on it. Either you help each other get there, or you sever the tie, because you as a person who's lit for Jesus is likely to become unlit in order to fit into the life of this person who doesn't want to pursue Christ. Hope that makes sense. Have I made sense?
Yeah, you made sense.
Yeah. So then that brings me to the aspect of, as much as you want to grow together, doing Bible study is a very intimate activity. As in, you just sitting in your Bible and talking to God is very intimate in itself. So I wouldn't advise as much as you guys want to grow together in Christ, I wouldn't advise you to do Bible study together alone when no one else is. You can do it in a restaurant. You can meet up in a public place where everyone can see you. You can read the Bible there together. But I wouldn't advise for you to do it in a private place where no one else is around, because it's very intimate. Moods zinapandanga haraka sana, they climb very fast. So it can easily move from honoring God to honoring God. So that's one of the boundaries I can give the moment. Ashley, do you have anything to add on the boundaries? Because actually that's what you talked about in the video.
I've just been listening to what you guys are saying, and I think sometimes if you don't see things in black and white, it's easy to get confused. I mean, some people call it extreme, some others say, oh, you're being too much. But if it's not black and white, it's so easy to get lost in what's happening in between. And you talked about if one of them is lit for Jesus, the other one isn't. It's very easy, by the way. Something that I've seen, for you to be lit for Jesus and be with someone who is not, they dim your light. Like it legit happens. It's very easy for them to pull you away from that light. Then most times you would expect that you can pull them into the light, but it's easier for them to bring you out of it. And that has a serious effect on you or on any individual, basically. So what I would say, just make the boundaries black and white. Like this side or this side. There's no in between. Nothing like that. Yeah.
Can you give
maybe
us...
if I can add, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley amesema kuhusu pulling you down. I'll use a practical example. Is it easier to bring someone up to, let's say umepanda mti, ni rahisi umbebe juu ama ya kusukume chini. So it's really important for you to know that if you're on top of a tree, chances are you'll fall. So usijidanganya ati umeokoka ile point. Utakuwa unatembea watu wanaanguka au kitu kayo. Hiyo unajidanganya, my friends. It is easier for them to actually make you forget than it is for you to bring them up. There's nothing like dating someone for them to get saved. You wewe utapotea before that happens.
Unless you're not the fourth person in the Trinity. You're not just stop lying.
So
that's not your work. I know, man.
I'm seeing someone has their hand raised. Njambi, you can say something.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Considering your practical examples, and what you've said, Ashley, wouldn't it be easier for, let's say, for example, I'm with a guy who's also Christian, late for Jesus and everything. Then we have society's unwritten rules about relationships or everything of that sort. So as much as we want to follow Christ-like behaviors and everything, won't it be easier for us to be influenced by what society wants from us, especially now that we're both from church? So the society already has a site, so they want to control it from parents, relatives, friends. They want to control the relationship now because you've met this guy from church. So they want to come in between. They want to be the, I don't know. So would it be easier for you to be influenced by the society's unwritten rules than now following Jesus and everything?
Ashley,
funnily enough, I was having this conversation with Sam the other day. Well, we said you have to have a line. You have to draw a line in the sand between what you really allow other people to have a say in your life. Yeah, other people might be, let's say you're in church, you're serving, and everyone else feels like since you're serving, you need to be the poster child of, everything good and amazing. And so when that comes into like a relationship and they all think it should go a certain way, or you guys should do certain things. I mean, first of all, it's not bad to listen to what they have to say, because sometimes they know things that you don't know. Actually, most times they know things you don't know. But at the end of the day, the relationship is between two people, and your relationship with Christ is personal. Yeah. So you shouldn't let it really weigh you down. Like, you can bring it, like take it in, hear what they have to say, but then it's up to you to be able to pick out what is working and what isn't working, I would say.
And I'll answer about society, and that's a really important question you've asked, because it's very crucial for you to know. The number one thing I'd say is, before you date, know what dating is from the source. That will save you a lot of pain and heartache, because you'll depend on others to show you what you need to do before you even know what you need to do for yourself. So really invest in knowing in what dating is. And the world has this conception that there's a difference between courtship and dating. Those are one and the same thing. And if you know what God truly says, you'll see that they are the same. And the fact that the world has split them apart like this, it makes people think dating as something that is really easy and really simple and you can do just for the sake. And courtship is what you do when you're serious. And nikitu labda unafikiria, but from my understanding in the word is that they are one and the same thing. That's what I get, and that's why it's really important for you to take it. And when it comes to society, I'll say that, I like using myself as an example. This is MC, but anajua anasikiza nikiongea, but my mom and my dad walipatana na walianza relationship yao tu na crest moja. Walipatana, akanunuliwa crest. My mom was in KU, my dad was in UN. Crest yake akienda kufunga virago na kuambia familia yake amepata. But when it comes to us, kuna watu wengine, society now different. And I'll take, someone had said they watch series, and I know you guys watch it, but when you look at the series, the way they define relationships, some of them define relationships as you have to know, you have to be good in bed, you have to be good looking, and all those things. So there's a lot of things you have to go through in society for you to know what it is. But you're lucky, you're blessed if you're a Christian, because you already have it at your hands. It does never change. Around you it will change, but the basics will never change. So it's very important for you, I'd say, for you to avoid being confused with society. And society also includes people in church, because some people in church are in church, but they do not know God. So it's important for you to know for yourself, for you to note for yourself what God says. Ask Percy, ask people who have walked there. And something I tried doing now, ask married people. Ask married people these things, because they really know what they are doing. And you'd be shocked that utadhani haelewi, but it's one and the same thing, because at the end of the day, dating is a relationship between individuals. So you really need to know and understand. I hope mess up Jibu. It was Njambi, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Njambi you answered. Hope the two people give you an answer you can use, yeah?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome.
Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I heard you saying something like we should not do Bible study somewhere we are alone. Why?
Pardon?
You said something like we should not do Bible study like we are two of us alone somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So what's wrong with that?
Oh, okay.
Somewhat of check.
I started by saying Bible study is a very intimate activity. Just by you alone doing it with God, like it literally builds a relationship. So now you can imagine when you're doing it with another human being, it makes you guys much closer, and you can easily start developing feelings, which ideally should be utilized in marriage. So if you guys are not married, you can end up finding that you end up sinning, you end up touching each other inappropriately, and then you end up having sex. That's why you can do it, Jakata msome Biblia, but do it in a public space where other people are around with you, because things can get very steamy because it's quiet, mnasoma, you know, sharing your thoughts, like it's very intimate. So do it's intimate, you would want to do it in a public space where everyone can see you.
I'm just thinking, like, what is the sorry, what's the okay, I mean, of course reading the Bible is intimate and it's quiet and guys are, you know, in the spirit listening to Jesus, but what's the difference between that sort of space, being alone with that other person, and if you're just alone watching movies together? Is there a difference?
I think watching a movie is much more different, because in a Bible study, most of them keep like there's nothing in their head apart from Bible study. But for movies, they expect anything.
You know, Ian, when you're least prepared, that's when the devil attacks. So in the Bible study, you're not expecting it. So that's where the devil is likely to attack. The thought will just randomly come, oh my gosh, this person looks so handsome or so beautiful. All of a sudden, just be like, they look nice in this lighting. It's so nice how they're doing Bible study with me. I just like how they're so holy. I just like how they took their time to be with me. So those thoughts just go developing. And as this phrase I usually like to say, if it's something you can't do in front of the whole church, like Windows from your podium, and you're doing this thing with this person and you can't do it in front of the whole church, then you're definitely not doing the right thing. So Bible study you can obviously do in front of church, but by yourself, I just feel like it's a Rebecca. Same with movies. You're watching, there's this thing, I experienced it, let me just come clean. It's when you go to the movies with your dates, and then you sit at the back row, and then somewhere in the middle of the movie, instead of watching, you start making out. Obviously, because in the back row, no one is seeing you guys. So it's something like that. If you're expecting it, so your mood's already high, like you're already ready for it, so you find you can't stop. So talk about that, just avoid things like those. So the movies Ken in Mbele, where everyone can see.
I'd say usisahau mwili yako ijaokoka. Mwili yako ijaokoka tufanye. Huu ni Bible study na sijui nini. Mwili yako ijaokoka bwana. And that's something I was told nikachezea nikadhani nawezana but sikuwezana, but mwili yako for real haijaokoka. So unaweza kuwa mnasoma Bible but the desires are still there, and it's like a fire. Once it's lit, nakwambia hata kama mlikuwa mnasoma Proverbs, vitu za sex hapo, mtafunga vizuri mwachane nayo kwa sababu so I think the best thing I can tell you is really value and really appreciate that you have feelings for someone, and that those feelings can actually drive you more than you think. The moment you underestimate how you feel is the first step of falling. So I'd say the moment you appreciate that you have feelings and things can go wrong, utafanya vitu kaizo in public. A rule I always had is whenever I was sasa nilikuwa na make sure kaa tuko pamoja, we are in a public space, in a public space that prohibits those things, because these days there are some public spaces which even encourage those things. And if you're in private, you're around people who will make you uncomfortable enough to be sober when your feelings start talking to you. Kwa sababu mmeanza kusongeana hivyo na mnadhani hata utajua mlikuwa mmekaa huku lakini mnajipata mko hapa all of a sudden. Vitu zinawaka all of a sudden. So sijidanganye that you have good intentions, and that is all that matters. People with the best of intentions across the Bible, because they underestimated and they got crazy. Let me quote David, because David is a very good example in this. David was supposed to be at war the time when he slept with Bathsheba. But because of that one instance where he was slacking, it gave, like Michelle said, an opportunity for someone to sin. And the devil is always looking for those ones. Na hizo ndio anapenda sana. Anapendanga saa zile unadhani uko in control, ndio akuonyeshe hujui. So please, as crude as it sounds, mwili yako ijaokoka jamaa. Hata ufanye nini, haitaiokoka. So ukubali na uweke safe boundaries. Hizo kama Michelle amesema kuhusu backseat, usikae backseat, keni mbele mahali mwenye hata ukitaka ile mbaya hauna option. Take the option away so that you're able to provide for them. Yes.
Umeongea watu 10 hapo.
Yeah, and I hope you've been answered now. Hope it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, so I just wanted us to talk on the topic of sex before now we finish. So there's this misconception that oral sex isn't sex, but on the deal, it actually is, because it's a form of sex. Doesn't matter if there's penetration or no penetration. Oral sex is still sex. So I am aware that there's some people who are dating, and just because they're not having penetration sex, then they haven't had sex before marriage. But I want you guys to know that oral sex is sex. So if you have participated in it, then you have had sex before marriage. I hope it makes sense. Yeah. So also steer away from that. It's a societal pressure, as Njambi was asking about. So it just comes with knowing your foundation and being firm in your standards, being firm in your boundaries, knowing that I won't compromise on me honoring God on the behalf of society, on the behalf of someone else, rather my partner who I'm in a relationship with. It's just a matter of being very firm in all that you believe in. It's like when you're being easily swayed by society and by your boyfriend or girlfriend, you're like a city that has been broken into without any walls. So yeah. Another thing I'd like to say before I hand over to anyone else who wants to speak is that you need to do your research. Don't just rely. As much as Sam ameongea kama Tukumi and Ashley is very knowledgeable, and Pastor Jake has told you something, like you need to keep looking for other sources of information. Today we've talked about this. Go research more on these other things. Soul ties, go research on that. Go research on body count. Go research on what can happen if you participate in oral sex, aka STIs, all those things. Find out all these things, be knowledgeable. Because actually, if you know what you're supposed to be doing and you don't do it, it's basically a sin. It's been said. So yeah. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I want to hand over to anyone else who wants to speak.
I don't really have a lot to say. Thanks for actually coming, because it matters. It's not beneficial to anyone else but you for being here. Yeah, you're here for you, not for anyone else. So it made this worth it. Thanks for coming.